What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Today is the Appreciate Greatness NBA Awards show, meaning I will be choosing my awards for this 2023-2024 NBA season. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. Hopefully I'm gonna make a playoff predictions video, but I'm not sure when I'm gonna get it out. Hopefully Friday is my goal to get it out. I wanted to see what happened with the play-in a little bit so I could talk more in depth about the 1, 8, and 2, 7 seeds, especially in the West. I think those could get really interesting. So I hope y'all go on to enjoy this video. If you do, leave a like, subscribe, do y'all thing. Let's get into the video. We're going to dive in. I don't really have this in any type of order, but I'm going to try and keep it from, I'm not going to do the MVP first, obviously. So we'll go Coach of the Year first. Obviously, it's already been announced that it was Mark Daigneault. I agree with that. I think Mark Daigneault, what he's done for the Thunder, the intricacies of their offense, just the movement. One thing I said about them to one of my friends today was, I think that the Thunder have such a high-paced half-court offense. And what I mean by that isn't necessarily that the ball's moving a lot, but I think the player movement is just so elite on the Thunder. It's a lot like a Nuggets. The Nuggets and the Thunder offense are beautiful to watch. The Kings also I'd throw in there. Shout out the Kings, killing the Warriors last night. Hopefully, prayers up for Zion. Hopefully he gets better. And the Kings and the Pels fully healthy in a matchup without Malik Monk, which we'll get into Malik Monk later. But I love Mark Daigneault. He's my number one guy. Number two, I have Tom Thibodeau. I think Thibodeau is, he's a guy I kind of wrote off after a while after Minnesota, and he's turned it around. He's got them boys playing defense, man. He has them boys defending, and obviously he plays his guys a lot of minutes. Dante DiVincenzo played a 52-minute game the other day, and I love Thibodeau. I think that he's got the Knicks rolling. He's got a very, very great player in Jalen Brunson, maybe a top 5 player in the league right now. If you want to get into some debates, and then at 3 I have Jamal Mosley. I think he just deserves some credit because the Magic team, this isn't a team that necessarily has great shooters, great spacing, and he's figured out a way to make that offense work. Obviously, it hasn't been super electric. It's kind of a middle of the pack offense, but he's got them boys playing defense. He has them boys playing defense. Those guys working their ass off, making plays on defense. Jamal Mosley, I think, is a big reason for that. At Sixth Man of the Year now, I have the Kings shirt on after the big win last night. Malik Monk is my Sixth Man of the Year. And I know a lot of times with NBA awards, it's what have you done for me lately? Malik getting hurt, which sucks. I think he's out for the year, which just sucks for the Kings. Sucks for an NBA fan. Malik Monk is so fun to watch. But I don't think Naz Reid passed him in this time of him being out. I think Malik Monk played 71 games still. We can get a check on that. And my number 2 is Naz Reid. I think Naz Reid has had a fantastic season, and especially, wow, that's bright. He played 72 games, Malik Monk did. And especially toward the end here when Cat's been out, he's been starting, he's been great, and obviously him starting is going to help him in the Sixth Man of the Year race, which happens a lot. But I think as a pure six man, Malik Monk's my guy at 1, Naz Reid at 2, and then Russell Westbrook at 3. To me, the way he does it all coming off the bench. He defends well. He plays hard as hell every single possession. I think I just have a lot of respect for Russ, especially after what happened with the Lakers tenure. And this year he's averaging, I think it's 11, 5, and 4, or 11, 5, and 5, really. And so I think Russ coming off the bench for the Clippers, he's going to be a key in the playoffs. He's going to be key in the first round, which I'll talk about in my next video. But Russ 3, so Malik 1, Nas 2, Russ 3 for the Sixth Man of the Year. At MIP, Most Improved Player, this one actually was the toughest one for me, but at 1 I went Kobe White. I think, to me, Tyrese Maxey is my 2, and then I would have Jalen Johnson probably winning it or second if he wasn't injured. But Kobe White, to me, the case over Tyrese Maxey is DeMar and LaVine got hurt. And the Bulls went from a team who was really struggling to Kobe White just launched them into the ability to contend. He's been awesome this year. I think he's averaging about 20 on pretty good shooting, and obviously he's gotten more minutes, but it hasn't really been a more minutes type thing. Tyrese Maxey, he's been great. I just think he was so good already that I just can't give him MIP. And then Denny Avdia is my number 3. Denny, especially down the stretch after post All-Star break, has been elite, really good, taking a big step offensively. We know what he can do defensively. Offense is coming around. He's looking good. Oh, all right, Rookie of the Year. This one was the easiest for me by far. At 1, we have Vic. 2, we have Chet. And 3 is Brandon Miller. Now, Vic just put together the best rookie season I think we've ever seen, ever. I know Wes Unseld won it MVP his rookie year, but Vic was outstanding this year. At 2, Chet. Chet wins this award probably 95% of the other seasons if Vic isn't in front of him. And then at 3, Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller made strides every month, it felt like. He got better every month. No true point guard, basically, the whole season because LaMelo was hurt a lot of the year. And so Brandon Miller taking those strides. I think he averaged 17 this year. He was outstanding. Chet, he averaged 2.6 blocks, I think. Like, Chet was outstanding. Vic was outstanding. Brandon Miller was outstanding. This rookie class was awesome this year. Moving on to DPOY. At number 1, back on top, Rudy Gobert. At 2, I have Vic. And 3, I have Herbert Jones. At Rudy, the best defense in the league, and you're anchoring that. To me, that's DPOY. The reason I had Vic at 1, the reason I took him off is because obviously I think he's averaging 5 stocks. That's insane. I don't think there's someone who impacts the rim and impacts teams as much as Vic. But that defense, I think they're ranked 23rd in defense. They're just not good, and I can't put him at 1 without his defense around him being, top of the line. And then Herb Jones is just the best perimeter defender in the NBA. I would say John Isaac could be up here, but he doesn't play enough minutes or games over the course of the season. Herb Jones is just such an elite basketball player. Even last night, Austin Reeves was dribbling the ball up, and Herb just got into him, used those long arms. Austin Reeves dribbled it off himself. Plays like that, it doesn't show up in the stats. It doesn't show up in the steals or the blocks, but it's big impact plays that Herb Jones makes. He's elite. He's my 3rd guy. And now we have what you have all been waiting for, the MVP. This is one of the most toss-up MVPs we've had in a long time. Now, I've seen Kendrick Perkins came out and said, oh, Shea. Someone else said, oh, it's Shea. That's normally not a good sign. If you're actually, like for Kendrick Perkins to say he's voting for you. But at 1, I have Luka Doncic. Luka has had this insane season. I'm still up in the air about this completely. I would almost give it to Jokic. I'll give my case for all of these guys. Luka, statistically insane. He's led this team. Obviously, Kyrie, which my thought is Kyrie is better than Shea's second guy, who is Jalen Williams. Then he's better than Chet, too. Then he's better than Jokic's second guy, which is Jamal Murray. Better than Giannis' second guy, which is Dame. That's a hot take. They're in that same little stratosphere, right? And then you have Jason Tatum, who just has the best team in basketball. I also put Jalen Brunson. We'll get into that later. But Luka at number 1, it's just the way he led this team. Defensively is kind of where I was going to pitch against him and say my MVP is Shea. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Shea is my MVP. And for this reason, Shea impacts the game in so much more ways than just in the stat sheet. I think he has, I would go out and say he has a lot of pass to assists. And that means he kicks it out and there's a one more. Or he kicks it. The way he makes plays for this Thunder team in the half court is so incredible. He's a great fourth quarter player. Obviously he has J-Dub, obviously he has Chet, but I think he makes his teammates every bit. I think he makes his teammates better every bit as much as Jokic does, every bit as much as Luka does. And I think that's something underrated with Shea is like you don't look at the stat sheet and see, 6 assists. That's not on the level of Luka. That's not on the level of Jokic. But I think his playmaking is right up there on par with them. He doesn't have some of the insane passes Luka or Jokic does, but he makes the right read 99.9% of the time. He rarely turns the ball over. I mean, this is a guy who is just incredible. He's getting the best defense. I mean, he's still getting looks of everyone at him, right? Driving lanes are packed still, even though the spacing has gotten so much better for OKC. And he led this team to a 1 seed. I mean, he led their team. I mean, I don't think you can argue against Shea. I don't think you can argue against Luka. I don't think you can argue against Jokic. I think if you have those three, any kind of order, I'm cool with it. I'm going Shea 1, Luka 2, Jokic 3, Giannis 4. Giannis has had a great season. I think Giannis has had as good of a season as Jokic. It's just that their team's struggling so much. And then at 5, I have Tatum/Brunson. Jason Tatum, best player on the best team. We know about it. He's been awesome, though. He's averaging 27 points per game. I think this is a year where maybe he wins MVP in like 2016. No, 2015, 2014, somewhere in there. Maybe he wins MVP because he is the best player on the best team, and he's averaging 27 points still. And then Jalen Brunson is my 5/6, and I just want to talk about him. He's incredible. He's been amazing this year. He's just such a fun player to watch. All right, now we're getting to the teams. So we're gonna start with the rookie team. An all-rookie first team, I have Vic, Chet, Brandon Miller, Jaime Jaquez, Derek Lively. Both of those two guys playing big roles, key roles on good competing teams. That's the reason they're in there. And then second team, Scoot, the Thompson twins, Gigi Jackson, Brandon Podziemski. Pods is up here because the defense is so great. Gigi closed out the season really well, but also had a great regular season in a whole. The Thompson twins, rebounding, defense, some great point guard play from Amin. I think it's just so hard. I love Cason Wallace, love Keontae George. Trayce Jackson-Davis was someone I just wanted to mention, like he had a great season. Keontae George as a secondary playmaker, I don't think he's going to be the main guy at point guard. I think he's got two guard and a secondary playmaker. I love him. I think he's got a lot of growing to do, and I think he's got a very high ceiling in this league. Cason Wallace was awesome. He's a guy, low floor, low ceiling type of guy. I think he's going to be an elite role player for years to come. And then Pods, great defender. Kind of the same thing with Cason Wallace. And then Scoot. This is the guy I want to talk about. Scoot Henderson, second half of the season. It takes some time for guards. We've always known that. Guards have a rough time adjusting to the NBA, the speed, the physicality. Scoot's built for it, and I think Scoot is going to continue to grow. He's going to continue to get better and better and better, and that's what he did this year. He got better and better and better, and I'm very excited. He also has the lowest plus minus in NBA history now, but very excited to see what Scoot can do next year. All defensive teams. My first team, I have Rudy, Vic, Herb, Chet, Bam, a lot of bigs, obviously positionless now, and I'm going to get more guards on the second team. But Rudy talked about, Vic talked about, Herb talked about, Chet, one of the top 5 defense in the league. He's the anchor. Moving on, Bam. Bam, I think, is one of the most underrated. He can switch out on the perimeter and play really well. He defends the interior well. He blocks shots, but he's also a really good positional defender. Bam, if the Heat would, if Jimmy would play more, if the Heat were really, really competing more to like win games in the regular season, Bam is a DPOY candidate. But that doesn't happen. Bam's great though. AD in the middle for the Lakers. Oh, second team. AD, Jaden McDaniels, Jalen Suggs, Derek White, and Lou Dort. That's my team. AD in the middle for the Lakers. Great. Jaden McDaniels on one of the best defenses. Is the best perimeter defender. Great. Jalen Suggs is so fun to watch. Hustles around, makes some great winning defensive plays. The improvement of Jalen Suggs this year has been elite. The defense has always been there, but this year it took another jump. Derek White, I put him in over Caruso, Drew, and Jarrett Allen. Derek White's one that I think I could swipe off and say Jarrett Allen's in or Drew's in, but I think Derek White's been better than Drew this year on ball defensively, and Caruso I think deserves some love, a lot of love. I think he might make the second team or even the first team. I could see it, but Derek White's been great again. That atypical role player, that perfect role player, you'd say. And then Lou Dort. Lou Dort's a guy who's drawn the most. I would say this isn't a fact, but I would guess he has drawn the most offensive fouls in the past 2 or 3 years out of every NBA player. I think I would go on a limb and say he has. He is so fun to watch play defense. He's just a disruptor. He's a pick dude. Pushes you off your spot, and he's a really, really great clutch defender. Late in games, he is always the one making big stops. It's awesome to watch. Moving to All NBA teams, this is our last one. We have Shea, Luka, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic on the first team. That's kind of self-explanatory. Second team, Jalen Brunson, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Domantas Sabonis. Brunson, we talked about. Kawhi had a good season, was healthy for a lot of it, led the Clippers to a 5 seed, a 4 seed, 4 seed, and I love the way he played this year. AD was just the guy for the Lakers this year. I think it's hard to keep him off the list. KD was 50-40. I don't know if he was 90, but I think he was 53% from the field, 41% from three, or maybe it's 51-43, something like that. He was incredible this year. And then Domantas Sabonis deserves love, a lot of love. I think he was a guy who was snubbed from the All-Star game, but also was an MVP candidate for a lot of the year. And he's just incredible. He's really the leader of this Kings team, even though you have De'Aaron still. He's awesome. And then third team, Steph, Devin Booker, LeBron, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton. Steph, Book, James, LeBron, kind of self-explanatory. Man, I keep calling it AD. And the same way, Tyrese Halliburton was a guy who I couldn't decide between Tyrese, Rudy Gobert, and Tyrese Maxey. I would be fine with any of those three guys in here. They're all awesome players. And then the all-injured team, I made Joel Embiid, Kat, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, and Julius Randle. I think all of those guys would have competed highly for that last spot or these last spots on this list. Joel probably would have been second team, first team. Kat probably would have been third team. Dono probably would have been second, third team. Trae, who knows? Julius, who knows? They may not make it, but I just wanted to make an all-injured team because I thought it was fun. Hope y'all went on to enjoy this video. I tried to do a different thing with the camera. I don't like it at all, but y'all have to suffer through that one, and I'll figure it out for the next video, which will be coming soon. Today is Wednesday. Hopefully it comes out. This should be coming out Wednesday, and then hopefully Friday y'all get a new video, which is probably the fastest back-to-back uploads I've ever had. But I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, do y'all thing. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.